So this is what you'll see when you first launch the game. You may get a little screen just before this, which actually has got a little bit of information, but you dismiss that once and you'll never see it again. So yeah, to get into the game nice and early, nice and quickly, yeah, you just click on this click play, move your mouse cursor over the top and click it, and there we go. Now, one of the first things I want to say is that you really want to play this game with a controller. The controls are camera relative, and yeah, you really want that kind of fidelity of movement for a control method like this. Because the controls are camera relative, so basically if I press forward, the character will face into the screen. If I press down, face towards the camera. If I press say left now, the character will face left, or press right, the character will face right. Another important thing to mention is these white lines which are coming across the screen, so that is the indication of the wind direction. And yeah, without further ado, yeah, let's get going. So if I press start, I'll then get up on my board and we'll start travelling across the wind. If I press up, basically that is just taking me in the direction I'm currently travelling. If I press up and left, I'll start to go upwind a little bit, or up and right, I'll start to go down and wind a bit. Now, one of the first things you do when you're wing foiling is you want to go in the opposite direction. So if I roll the stick around, so I'm going across the wind, as you can see the wing is flashing, and at some point I'll fall in. There's no worries about this. It's going to take a while to get used to this. So again, I can just press start, just face my board across the screen, across the wind, press the start key, up we get, and off we go again. Now obviously this is a wind sport, and you tend to want to go across the wind at all times. If you face the board into the wind, it'll slowly slow down and again fall off. And similarly, if we face the board down into the wind, you'll lose power and again probably eventually fall off. Yeah, there we go, like that. The way to counter this is to start, face the board across the wind, press the start key, off we go. Now I've got a button to actually jibe the wing. This is the A button on an Xbox controller. Basically it's the bottom face button. So if I roll the stick around halfway through the wind, I press the A button, you'll see it transitions the wing, go off in the opposite direction, and off we go. The code will automatically detect whether you want to jibe or tack. So if I go downwind and press A, it'll do a jibe, and off we go in the other direction. And if I go upwind and press A, it'll tack, and off we go like that. So there's your basic controls. So now you can just ride around. It'll probably take a little while to get used to how this all works, the way that the controls work relative to the camera. You will notice that the camera will basically try to reorient itself so that it tries to get behind you. This is to allow you to see where you're going at all times. This will mean that you need to make some adjustments to the directional stick once you've altered your direction. And the idea is that kind of eventually you'll be pushing up in the direction to just keep on going the direction that you're currently travelling. If you want to do something a little bit more advanced, we could go for a little 360. This is actually, in a way, it's a little bit easier than jibing and tacking because you don't actually need to press a button. But if you just roll the stick around, all the way around, you'll see that you get a nice easy 360. So that was an upwind 360. Just do that again, upwind, keep on rolling the stick around. We've got a little upwind 360 there. And if we don't want to do a downwind 360, just go the opposite way. And yeah, there we go, just come out of that quite nicely. It does allow you to ride backwinded for a certain amount of time. So if we do this, I don't jibe, you'll see that the wing will start flashing. As long as I turn out of it before the board drops off the foil, you can ride backwinded quite nicely. This is quite handy when you're on the waves or you don't want to jibe, but it's quite a funky little method. As long as you get out of it quick enough, you shouldn't fall in. You'll see the wing flashing to warn you that you're backwinded, and provided you do that before the board touches the water, you'll ride on fine. Okay, let's look at some basic tricks. So just get some decent speed across the wind, and then just pull the left trigger, and you'll get airborne. It's as easy as that. As long as you land nice and straight, you'll keep on riding. Now let's go into a little jibe. There we go. We'll go back the other way. We're doing it into the waves now, so we can get a little bit extra height. So we are, pull the trigger. Off we go, nice and airborne, and perfect landing. Awesome. So you can also do 360s in the air. So if we do this, then we spin the stick round in the same way that you do a 360. You can do that, do it either way. There we go. So backside or front side 360. You can do 720s, things like that as well. Also, if you press one of the buttons whilst in the air, so if you press the bottom face button, we'll do a nice little backflip. Or if you press the top face button, we'll do a front flip. And there are also other moves where you kind of combine these, but I'll leave you to work those out and have a bit of fun. Okay, well that is all the basics of the game down. So yeah, I think we'll go back to the main menus and have a look at some of the other things that you can do. Okay, so looking at the main menu options, probably the best thing to start with is probably the gear select. So again, we just hover over that and click. So this gives you 3 main wings to try. By default, you'll get the tracer. If you're finding the game's a little bit too quick and you want to slow things down a bit, you can pick the Trek instead. This is kind of a very easy forgiving surf style foil. So if we just use that instead, you should hopefully notice that everything's kind of that bit slower. This is a very quick turning foil, so if you want to practice kind of your 360s or something like that, it's a very, very quick turning foil, very, very responsive. But yeah, it is that bit slower, and it will drop off the foil at a slower speed compared to the others. So yeah, that one's a pretty good option. On the other side of the coin, if we go back to the main menu, there is the plasma, and this is quite a sporty little foil. So if we go back to this, so this is significantly quicker than the other foils, but it is that fair bit slower to turn. The maximum turn rate is quite a bit slower. So if we try to spin it round, as you can see, it just doesn't go anywhere near as quickly in the turning as the Trek did. And the tracer is kind of halfway in between the two. But this is a very fun foil to really kind of blast around on. But yeah, I'll leave you to kind of try them all out and see which you enjoy the most. The next menu option worth looking at is the level select. If we just go on that. So by default, if you click quick play, you'll start on the deserted island. Yeah, that's a great little small map to just practice things on, and it loads immediately. Nothing particularly takes all that long to load in this game, but yeah, just literally the second you click play, it'll load immediately. Another option is Tranquil Lake, and I think this is a good beginner's map as well. It's absolutely butterflat, a slightly different vibe compared to the more sea-related maps, which all the other ones are. I think this is a really good map to just practice your jibes and tacks, and yeah, just get a feel for the manoeuvres really. So yeah, I think there's not a great deal more to say on this one. I think we'll go back to the main menu again. So you can do this by pressing the start button, and then you've got the settings screen, and there's a few options here which you can change. Yeah, I think we'll just drop back to the main menu. So back to level select. The next one probably worth looking at is the Sandy Island. So this is a sort of a bigger wave map. This is actually a really big map. The island is really quite big. It takes quite a long time to ride around it actually. So yeah, let's just have a quick look at that. So let's go and play a game. So as you can see on this one, the waves are significantly bigger. And this is like a really fun map to actually start, just messing about in the waves. And as I was saying, it allows, you can backwind a certain amount of time without needing to jibe. Or of course you can practice your jibes as you're on the wave and your tacks. It's really quite fun just to kind of ride about, not even worry with tricks, but if tricks are your thing again, you can start getting some tricks in like that. Let's see if I can get a 720 in. Oh no, didn't make it. Let's see if we can do one now. Maybe I'll do a mobe. There we go, and a backflip. So there's a mobe. So yeah, this is a fun little map. Well, actually it's a very big map. Especially fun for wave riding. The waves are kind of, fairly big, but fairly high frequency. And yeah, it's really, really fun to go and explore on this map, I'd say. Another thing worth mentioning while we're here is the kind of multiple camera modes. So this is the default camera. If you use the directional pad, you can change the camera modes. So if I press up, you'll see that the camera is now kind of facing towards the waves all the time. So as I go left and right, the camera is always facing into the front of the waves. This is the ideal kind of wave riding camera, I think. The opposite is to actually press down, and then you'll always be looking with the waves effectively. So this one's kind of really useful to kind of see where you're going. But it is kind of quite difficult to really kind of see what the wave's doing a little bit, because you're always looking kind of over the top of the wave. The other options are if you press left on the D-pad. This is basically the follow cam, which is the default. So this will always try to bring the camera round slowly to kind of face in the direction you're going. And the final option is if you press right on the D-pad. Now this is kind of a static camera. Whatever you do, the camera won't change direction. So this is kind of a really useful camera for kind of ease of use, really. You just keep on pushing the stick in the direction, and the board will always just keep on travelling in that direction. You never need to correct it. This is also a really good mode for using the keyboard, because it is quite awkward when the camera is reorienting with the keyboard. And yeah, this is quite a useful camera mode to stop it from reorienting itself and having to adjust the keyboard direction that you're having to do. So yeah, there's the basic 4 modes of the camera, and yeah, had a good look at this gigantic map. We're only seeing a very, very small part of it here. It's really quite a big island. So finally, on the old level select screen, we've got Rocky Island. So this is kind of a big wave map. And while we're here, we'll also kind of have a look at arcade mode. We've been in the free ride mode before now, so this is kind of unlimited time. Just do whatever you like for as long as you like. Arcade mode is a mode where basically you've got a fixed timer, and it'll also kind of tally up your score while you're going. So as you see, we've got a score up there in the top corner, and it also kind of marks down your tricks as well, so you can see how good a score you can get. So if I just do a nice big jump off here, there you go, epic jump, just give that 100 points. If I want to go for something a bit better, let's do a 360 or something, or and Ammonius, let's do that. So there you are, 900 for that one. So the scoring in this is a combination of basically the moves that you do, the tricks, and also the amount of flowing moves you do on the wave. So as you can see at the bottom, there's that flow meter, and as you see, I'm largely maxing that out. That's because I'm travelling very fast and changing direction a lot. So now that we've covered the flow meter, the last thing I want to mention is the ability to flag the wing. In order to flag the wing, you need to be on the right side of the wing. You can't do it back-winded, and you do so by just pressing the right trigger, and you'll release the wing like that. This allows you to ride, fully 360 as long as you've got enough power. You can ride for as long as you like with the wing flagged. Obviously, you're not getting any power from the wing anymore because the wind is just kind of blowing straight through it. But it gives you the ability to just ride endlessly without needing to worry about which direction the wind's going. Again, it's really good to change this into one of the wave riding cams. Makes it easier by pressing up or down on the stick. And yeah, so this is kind of your main wave riding mode if you don't want to do it with the wing powered. To go back to normal riding, all you do is just release the trigger and off you go again, your wing's powered, and you can quite happily switch between having the wing flagged and having the wing powered as much as you like. So I think that's about everything. Thank you very much for watching. If you need any more information, please do check out foilgame.com. I'll be updating that over the coming weeks. And yeah, hopefully updating the game too. So yeah, cheers, thank you everyone, bye!